So today we're going to talk about ticks, yes, that kind, and gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis, what they all have in common. Hi, my name is Robert, and I own a telemedicine company called Shameless Care, which deals in sexual health and also tick bites. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, I really thought about adding a joke in here about sucking since we're talking about ticks and gonorrhea and chlamydia and syphilis, but I'm way too mature for that. But what I do want to let you know is that Lyme disease is a bacteria which is present in certain types of ticks in certain parts of the United States, particularly in the Northeast. And it is a really potentially deadly bacteria. I have a friend, and I actually live here in Illinois, and his 18-year-old son, prime of life, healthy as can be, just last summer, got Lyme disease and almost lost his life. He was in the hospital for weeks and weeks, and it took months for him to finally recover. So Lyme disease, very serious disease, as many of you know. But did you know that there is such a thing called post-tick bite prophylaxis? And that is where you take a single dose of doxycycline, 200 milligrams within 72 hours after a tick bites you, and it helps prevent your risk of Lyme disease by 87%. So this is critically important for those of you that do live in states with a high rate of Lyme disease. It could honestly save your life. Now, the reason why I talked about gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis is because that is the exact same protocol that people call DoxyPEP in the sex world, where people take a single dose of doxycycline, again, 200 milligrams within 72 hours. It's literally the same thing within 72 hours of sex, and it dramatically lessens your likelihood of gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis. For chlamydia and syphilis, it lowers your risk by, you guessed it, 87%, or right in that range. And for gonorrhea, it's closer to about 60%. There seems to be a couple different strains of gonorrhea out there, and some of it is more susceptible to doxycycline than others. But in either case, I just think that's absolutely fascinating that DoxyPEP at post-tick bite prophylaxis is basically the exact same thing. And it really makes me wonder, what else could, with taking a single dose of doxycycline, what else could be helped by that? Maybe Mycoplasma genitalium, maybe bacterial vaginosis. I mean, who knows? These things have not been studied, and I'm certainly not speculating. But I bet that society and science is just beginning to scratch the surface as to what this sort of proactive, tiny dose of antibiotic after exposure can do. So ticks, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis have more in common than you might think. I'm Robert from Shameless Care. Thank you.